The comment of the day goes to Gimsicle, and he says, "I love that you give Grievous a Russian accent." But honestly, to me, that's exactly how he sounds.
But what do you guys think? Do I sound like General Grievous to you? Let me know in the comments below. The best answer gets a pin.
What's up, Net Soldiers? I'm Ned Alliance. Today I'll be talking about that Leia scene from The Last Jedi. Yeah, you know what scene I'm talking about. But before we begin, if you enjoy this video and you'd like to see more, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications for more Star Wars videos. But with that said and out of the way, let's begin. So, for many Star Wars fans, The Last Jedi is one divisive film. Some people absolutely love it. Others think it should be removed from canon. And depending on who you are, you may feel very strongly about certain scenes and things that happen in the film. Just to name a few, we have the death of Snoke, the way the story handled Luke, and the entirety of Canto Bight. And I'm sure the list could go on. Perhaps in a nice top 10 list that has the top 10 worst Last Jedi moments featured in it, and I just happen to have done that recently. So if you want to check out that video, there'll be a link in the description below. But with all this opposition towards some of the Last Jedi's elements, I think one scene of all the scenes gets way more hate than it deserves. And that scene is referred to as the Superman Leia scene. So I decided to bring up this topic in today's video because when I made my top 10 worst Star Wars Last Jedi moments, I didn't include this scene in my list, and because of that, I received some backlash, I guess. So I chose to make this video in response to that. Now with that said, in this scene we see Leia, Akbar, and a few other Resistance soldiers that aren't really that important get blown out of the ship's bridge. In this moment, we believe that Akbar and Leia are dead. And although Akbar is most certainly dead, for now, I don't want to give Disney any ideas, we find out that Leia survived being sucked into the vacuum of space, and she uses the Force to bring herself back to the ship, effectively surviving her doom. Now, from my experience, there are two separate problems with this scene according to the fans. The first gripe is that Leia actually used the Force, and the second gripe I heard is that the scene is just odd and unneeded. And I'm sure there are a few more gripes too, like why didn't Leia grab Akbar and bring him to the ship as well? Or how did she manage to hold her breath for so long out in space? Or my personal favorite, where was Jar Jar during all this? Okay, that last one isn't actually a gripe per se, but I honestly want to know what he's up to. But anyways, back to the actual video. For me, I think this scene was fine. Was it odd? Yeah. But was it awful like some people are saying? No, not at all. I actually think it was a pretty artistic scene. The cinematography was beautiful, and in my opinion, it makes sense for Leia's story arc in this film. So I can't personally roll this scene out as pointless and dull. Now, for the bigger argument I've been hearing, the biggest reason for people not liking this scene is because Leia used the Force. And I've heard it a bunch of times. Leia never used the Force before. We never saw her use the Force. So why is she using the Force? What is it? What Leia gonna do? And my answer to that is just think about who Leia is. Leia may be an Organa, but she has the blood of Skywalker in her. Her father was Anakin Skywalker, one of the strongest Jedi to ever live. Her brother was Luke Skywalker, also one of the strongest Jedi to ever live. So from this, we can infer that Leia could be able to use the Force as well. And you have to remember one really important thing. By the time Leia and Luke learn they are siblings in Return of the Jedi, to the point where The Force Awakens begins, there is a span of 30 years. So, since we know Luke continued to train for a while, we can also infer that he taught Leia a few things as well. For example, perhaps he taught her how to use the Force Push and the Force Pull. Those are kind of the more basic Force abilities. So to that extent, it would make sense why she was able to use the Force to propel herself towards a ship, and in turn, saving herself from certain death. So all in all, in my opinion, Leia's Superman scene is a pretty decent one. I don't know about you guys, but I've been waiting to see Leia use the Force for quite some time now. And although this scene was a little different, I personally think it makes Leia's character even cooler than before. And that's why this scene doesn't deserve as much hate as it gets. But of course, that's just my opinion. What's your opinion on this? How do you guys feel about this scene? Was the scene good? Was the scene awful? Did you initially dislike this scene, but after watching this video, did it change your mind? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications for more Star Wars content. And until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.